All right, AP History students, let's talk about the long essay question, or the LEQ. This is a huge part of your exam, and today we're going to break down a formula that will help you absolutely crush it.
Yeah, let's just start with this quote from Freemanpedia because it's perfect. The LEQ, this is where the training wheels come off. There are no documents to help you, no safety net. It's just you, the prompt, and everything you've learned this year.
And this isn't some small part of the exam either. We're talking 15% of your total score. You've got about 40 minutes to write it, and it usually comes at the very end of the test, when, let's be honest, you're probably already running on fumes. So you might be asking, how is this different from the DBQ? Well, think of it this way. The LEQ is basically a DBQ, but without any of the documents. All of the evidence, every last fact, has to come straight from your brain. It's the ultimate test of what you can remember and how well you can build an argument from scratch.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to cover what the LEQ is, map out your pre-writing strategy, give you the 6-point writing formula, and then finish up with some common mistakes and pro tips. Let's do this.
First up, let's really get into what the LEQ is. You gotta know your enemy, right? Understanding what you're up against is half the battle. Okay, so here's the first piece of good news. You actually get a choice. The College Board will give you 3 different prompts, each one covering a different historical period. This is awesome because you can play to your strengths and pick the one you feel most confident about.
But here's the key, and you've got to remember this. All 3 of those prompts are going to test the exact same skill. It'll be one of 3 things: causation, which is just cause and effect, comparison, compare and contrast, or continuity and change over time.
All right, a killer essay doesn't just happen. It starts way before you even write a single sentence. So let's talk about your pre-writing game plan, because this is how you set yourself up for success.
I cannot stress this enough. Do not rush this step. Seriously, choose your prompt, read it again, and then read it a 3rd time while you circle, underline, and box the key parts. So many points are lost because people write about the wrong time period or misunderstand the question. Take the extra 30 seconds. It's worth it.
Okay, once you've picked and understood your prompt, the next thing you do before you write a single sentence of your essay is a brain dump. Just grab some blank space and scribble down every person, event, vocab term, anything relevant that you can think of. This gives you a whole arsenal of evidence to pull from.
All right, now for the magic, let's get into the 6-point writing formula. Think of the official rubric not as a test, but as your recipe for a great essay. We're just going to follow the recipe.
So here it is, 6 total points up for grabs, spread across 4 categories. You've got your thesis, contextualization, evidence, and analysis. And don't worry, we have a plan to snag every single one of these points.
Your intro paragraph, it only needs 2 things. That's it. Contextualization to set the stage, and a thesis to state your argument. And listen up, here's a massive pro tip. You do not need a conclusion paragraph. It's not on the rubric, it gets you 0 points. Don't waste your time.
And for that thesis, you can't go wrong with this formula from Heimler's History. Although X, because A and B, therefore Y. Let me tell you why this is pure gold. Starting with although immediately sets you up for the complexity point. The because part forces you to lay out your evidence, and the therefore makes your argument crystal clear.
And for the body paragraphs, we keep it simple with the TEA method. Topic, sentence, evidence, analysis. TEA. Super easy to remember, and it guarantees that you're always connecting your evidence back to your main argument, which is exactly what the readers want to see.
Okay, we've got the formula down. Now let's talk about what not to do, plus a few secrets to give you an edge. Avoiding these traps can be the difference between a good score and a great one.
So, you might have a teacher or an older sibling tell you about synthesis, where you connect your argument to a totally different time period at the very end of the essay. It used to be a thing.
Let me be as clear as I can possibly be. Do not do it. The synthesis point is gone. It was removed from the rubric way back in 2017. If you write a synthesis paragraph, you are literally wasting precious minutes for 0 points. Don't do it.
So, what replaced synthesis? The complexity point. And let's be real, this is the final boss of the rubric. It's the toughest one to get. So the big question is, how do you actually earn it?
Well, the secret to complexity is showing that you know history isn't simple. Most students just throw in evidence that supports their argument. To get this point, you also have to bring in evidence that kind of challenges it. You acknowledge a counter-argument, and then you explain why your main argument is still the right one. It shows a much deeper level of understanding.
Okay,
Deep breaths. What happens if you look at the clock and, oh no, you only have 10 minutes left? First, don't panic and give up. Second, there's an emergency plan.
Believe it or not, you can still walk away with a solid score. Here's how. Minute 1, just write your thesis. Boom, that's 1 point. The next few minutes, write 1 body paragraph with 2 pieces of evidence. Now you're at 3 points. Got a minute to spare? Scribble a few sentences of context above your thesis for a potential 4th point. A 3 or 4 out of 6 in 10 minutes? That's a huge win.
Okay, let's bring it all home. Here are the key takeaways, the things you need to have in your head when you walk into that exam room. You've got this.
So here's your action plan. Choose your prompt wisely, plan before you write, follow the formulas, be super specific, no vague stuff. And if you're running out of time, switch to that emergency plan. See? The LEQ isn't some big scary monster, it's a puzzle, and now you have the solution.
Look, with this strategy, you're not just hoping for a good score. You're building it, piece by piece. You are in the driver's seat. So the only real question is, how are you going to use this formula to turn your next practice essay into your best one yet?